So our first guest, Alejandra Alonso Rojas, y esta entrevista es solamente en español. Entonces, ¿cuántos habla español? ¿Poquito? Muchas gracias. You will see subtitles floating in front of us during the interview. So Alejandra was born and raised in Madrid. She's fourth-generation hand knitter who combines both traditional and experimental knitting techniques to create one-of-a-kind collectible pieces. And her respect for tradition also led her to learning about men's fine tailoring. And she worked with a master tailor in order to do that. And she is greatly inspired by the legacy of the pioneering, industrious, and creative women who led her childhood. And Alejandra seamlessly blends artistry, handcraft, and an easy glamour into the creative process. And she's one of the newer additions to the RTW family, beginning her relationship in 2017. So please welcome Alejandra.
Thank you.
So if we would have known you when you were a kid, and I'm old enough to have known you when you were a kid,
Yep.
which is already weird to me, would we have seen any indication of the direction your life has taken?
Yes, I think so. Since I was a very active child, and I was always painting. I already had like a pair of like knitting needles in my hands by the age of 4. And I come from a household of like very entrepreneurial, like, women and also men. And so, yeah, like advertising, like cooking, like there was always something very artistic in the family going on. So yeah, as a child I was very intrigued with like clothing and knitting and making like dresses for dolls. And
so did you always know you were going to be a designer, that would be your career?
Yes. I didn't know if it was going to be a designer, if I was going to be an artist or a painter, but I was always really interested in art. And part of it is represented on on my fabrics today. Like we hand paint like every single print at the studio in New York for every collection. And then that print is like applied to silks or other materials to kind of like bring them to life. So that's a big part of it. And then the knitting techniques into like sweaters or dresses or any other piece. But I'm always like playing with materials and colors, and I love it.
So through an astounding coincidence, there's 2 women wearing your clothing to my right. It's shocking how that happened. So how would you describe your look?
I would say it's like nonchalant for the, I would say it's like for the modern women, or like, the real women who are really into fashion. They appreciate the quality of the pieces. They consider pieces collectible more than fast fashion. And it's, everyone is building up their closet. It's really comfortable. You can go to events like being beautiful, but at the same time being super comfortable, like day to night look, different kind of stylings. And we're all like doing a million things during the day. So it's nice to move and, walk on those pieces and feel the best version of yourself, or at least that's what I'm trying to accomplish here.
So if you can think way back to 2017, when you first met Janice, what was your impression of her? And did you think right off the bat, well, that was a good snap. I don't usually do those. That was pretty good, wasn't it? Did you think, this is going to be a good account? What was your take on Janice the first time you met her?
No.
Are there any lawyers in here?
Since I started the line back in 2016, like RTW was definitely one of the of the accounts, and a very special store that I wanted to come see, that I've been hearing a lot of. And Janice has like an amazing, credible reputation in the industry. So I was very, I was kind of like scared but like excited to meet her at the same time.
I go through that every visit.
But I loved her since our first meeting, and I thought that like her feedback, and like she's always like telling the truth. And I've learned a lot like through these past couple of years from her and RTW as well. So it's an honor to be here and have the collection here. Thank you, Janice.
So, having seen the store, having gotten a sense of Janice and the way that RTW operates, 40 years is a long time in this business. What do you attribute her longevity to?
I think she's a pioneer, and I think she's been able to adapt herself, and like with such a creative mind of hers, like I think she's just been adapting through the time and adapting through new designers, and like really like being on the spot with like what her clientele wants. And I think she has a wonderful relationship with all of her clients, and so that's also really helpful to, I feel like, not only surviving the business, but like being successful and have a name like she has in the fashion industry.
So as a designer, you've got to sell your collection twice. You have to sell it to the retailer,
yes,
and then the retailer has got to sell it to the final consumer. How do you best convey your message to the customer, and what part does the store play in that communication?
I mean, I feel this store is everything, like from the buying, from the buying office, or from the moment they place the order, like what styles are they writing, what styles are they falling in love with. Like the collection is not just gonna sell because it's hanging on a store, even if it's the best store in the world. Like you need you need a team of wonderful salespeople, and I feel like what I love about RTW and the concept of a specialty store is the relationship that we the designers like build up with the store, the team, and like someone like as exciting as Janice, because then that's when you really start building up the relationship, and that's when the clients like start knowing about the brand. And so I don't think it's just like great, someone just wrote an order and that's great. No, I mean you kind of like need to keep that going on. I mean I wish I hope that I'm in business in 40 years too, and we still have the relationship.
And we'll be back to celebrate that, all
yes.
of us here in 40 years. Is there a collaboration that takes place between you and Janice? What's the nature of the relationship other than her just sitting down and writing an order?
I love when she tells me, what her clients want, like even like, Charleston's weather is not New York's weather, it's not LA's weather. So there's always conversations about, weights of fabrics, colors, or, like what pieces are more flattering for her clients, what sort of like silhouettes are they looking for. And it's not that I have to design a collection specifically per store, because I mean that would be crazy, but it really helps me on the creative side, because then I'm like, as I'm creating the new collections, I'm really thinking about like what sold best, or like, and not just like in terms of like monetary terms. It's just like if someone is in love, like that suit for instance is like one of the signatures for the brand, and I've been like doing it in like different prints of colors like every season, and people keep coming back to it. So like what's the point of changing that when it's a piece that like people come every season for? Like I think that would be a good example of something that through a communication with Janice, for instance, I know it's working, and I know her clients are really happy with it. So it helps a lot.
And do you sell online also? I
do have yes, we sell online, but I think, I don't know, my personal take on that is that I feel like, again, like as times evolve and like years go by, I feel like many years ago, the department stores were the new way of shopping before internet was a thing. I feel right now like both specialty stores and online are very strong on their own different ways, but I think they're so different. Like the attention, the treat, the tailoring that you get at a specialty store has nothing to do with the with the experience that you get online. But I feel like people more and more now like either buy online, but that same client loves coming to RTW or specialty stores and have that special attention for an event. I feel like online you might get something that you need like maybe right away, but it's different. I feel like the growth of the specialty stores together with the growth of online, like on its two separate, channels, like right now is to me like the more modern approach, which is like the old school versus the new school. And then in the middle, there's like this gap where like you don't really get like neither one attention or the other. So, I mean, me personally, I love shopping at both specialty stores and then the online channels if I need something, a basic or something that I need right away.
Can I ask how many of you shop online who are here? And obviously, a lot of you also, thankfully, shop in a store too. Is that interesting? So I'm going to ask you a few rapid-fire questions. These are just short personal answers that I'd like short personal answers too. What to you are the elements of good design?
To me, I like love for the pieces that you're making, and quality, and like a great fit.
And how do you define good taste?
That's a tricky question.
That's why I asked it. It's not all going to be easy.
RTW? Can I answer as RTW?
Yes. Yes. Can you share a key insight into how a person should put together their own wardrobe?
I believe a wardrobe should be, as I said before, like special collectible pieces. I don't believe in having a wardrobe with like 2,000 pieces, even though my husband probably would disagree with that because my closet probably has more than those. But I think, like a good wardrobe should be a wardrobe, in my opinion, that like you really have the option of like styling things different from day to night, and then of course galas or stuff like that goes like on a different side of the closet. But I feel like if every season you're just really buying your favorite pieces, and then those pieces again can be even passed on like generation to generation. That's how I grew up, seeing my grandma's closet and my mom's closet, and like I don't know, that's to me like the perfect closet, like kind of like combining these amazing pieces with new like wonderful pieces that you might like have like on the way, and investing in quality, so that they don't disappear on like 2 washing machines.
What is creativity?
To me, it's a way of life. To me, it's my everything. So I don't know. It's a part of me, and I've always had it. So I think it's a philosophy, or it's just like part of someone.
And what is fashion?
Fashion, I mean, many people have described fashion like, like thousands of different ways. For me, fashion, it's a mix of, like art together with like anyone's personality. I feel like fashion is a way of expressing yourself and presenting yourself, or like, again, like to me, fashion should be like what makes you look or feel like the best version of yourself. Like that's why we all, get dressed, and it could just be anything. Like some people, like feel great with like the most basic things, and some people feel great just like, wearing like amazing brands, but at the end of the day, I think fashion should just be like a representation of who you are.
And finally, what is style?
I think style comes also from fashion. To me, style would be like the way that like each of us like represent, or like take that approach of fashion and make it our own.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Explain the theory of relativity.
Go on, tell them. We were just talking about that before we started. Any other questions that might be a little narrower? Yes.
What's your favorite piece of your grandmother's?
My favorite piece of my grandma is her wedding dress that Balenciaga made at his atelier in like, I feel it was 1953. And like we still have it in the family, and it's just like a piece to die for. It's beautiful. So that's definitely my favorite piece from her.
That's right. I saw how excited you looked when she said Balenciaga. Did you bring your credit card with you?
I can show you a picture later if you want of the dress. I have
The
it.
interesting thing about Balenciaga was that it wasn't a pants wedding dress, was it?
No, it was no, but it was. She was always very modern and always like against like rules. So she actually made it shorter on the front than the back because she wanted to show her shoes. So her mom almost had a panic attack, but I think it looked really beautiful.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.